This is KBOI 2 News, first at 4.
Hi everybody, I'm meteorologist Roland Stedham. The worst case scenario has just taken place. Hurricane Harvey has been upgraded to a major Category 3 hurricane with sustained winds at 125 miles per hour as the eye is beginning to come on shore.
And I'm Natalie Hurst, remembering an icon from Idaho. Coming up, looking back at the life and the legacy of former Governor Cecil Andrus. And a new look at an old-fashioned idea, why some researchers say sex education needs a major change. And Princess Di, like you've never seen her before. The new footage unveiled this week, nearly 20 years since her tragic death. We start tonight with a major weather event, as Roland said. Hurricane Harvey, now a Category 3 storm, is set to strike the Texas Gulf Coast in just a matter of hours. This is a live look at the coast. Feet of rain and damaging winds are expected across the area. People in Corpus Christi, Galveston, and other coastal areas are being told to leave or stay at their own risk. And we have team coverage of the storm this afternoon. Let's start with our chief meteorologist, Roland Stedham, who has years of experience forecasting hurricanes.
13 years in Miami, Natalie, has taught me a couple of things. Number one, you're never sure of exactly where a hurricane is going to go until it gets within miles of the coastline. There are also other concerns that this system is going to be stalling right over the central coastline of Texas in the days to come. I'll have much more on that. Let's toss it out to Weizhu Zhang, who has the latest on what Harvey is up to.
A violent surf is crashing into the Texas Gulf Coast as Hurricane Harvey whips closer to landfall. Weizhu Zhang, CBS News, Corpus Christi, Texas.
Anytime we have a storm of this intensity, of this size, that it hits a very densely populated area, our own meteorologist Nate Larson knows that it can have widespread impacts that could affect us here in the Gem State. Nate?
Yeah, we're talking about flights. I mean, people flying to and from those major airports, or at least connecting flights in those airports. And most major airlines are waiving change fees to flights going to South Texas. Changing your airline ticket can cost as much as $200 with some folks. But storm policies vary from airline to airline, so make sure you check if you're flying to the area in the next few days. So right now at the Boise airport, we're not seeing a whole lot of delays related to flights going towards the South Texas area, although we are seeing some delays in the area. Just make sure, again, if you are planning to fly somewhere in that direction, or if you have a connecting flight in one of those major airports, you make sure and give them a call to find out what's going to happen. You can check out the status of your flight on the Boise Flight Tracker. You can find it on our website, idahonews.com. Just click on the news links. The last flight from Corpus Christi to Dallas landed at 9:30 this morning. Airports in South Texas are not closed, but very few, if any, flights are expected to land there in the next few days. Have you ever wondered what it's like to fly in a hurricane? Here you go. Some brave hurricane hunters fly into the storm and took this video saying there was turbulence, and or saying that if you were expecting turbulence, that would be an understatement for sure. So I'll be back throughout the newscast with live analysis of conditions in South Texas. I'm in the Satellite Center. Nate Larson, KBOI 2 News.
Nate, thank you. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, is gearing up to respond. So let's go to our national question of the day. How prepared do you think the federal government is to handle Hurricane Harvey? It's our national question of the day. Make sure to head to idahonews.com to vote. You can find the poll under the news tab. It's in the top left corner. We'll read the results later on in the newscast. Roland and Nate will give us many more updates on Hurricane Harvey throughout this newscast. We'll also be having a live report from the shore coming up. Well, sad news here in Idaho. Family, friends, and lawmakers are remembering the life of Cecil Andrus. The former Democratic governor died Wednesday night following complications from lung cancer. His legacy of conservation and love for the wilderness stretched far beyond Idaho. One of his many achievements, including engineering the conservation of millions of acres of Alaska land during the Carter administration. My co-anchor Brent Hunsaker has more on his legacy of service. He joins us live in Boise.
Natalie, you know of the many men who have occupied the governor's office here at the State House. And as you can see from the wall right here, there have been a lot of them. Well, today, Cecil Andrus is being remembered as one of the great ones. Natalie, back to you.
All right, thank you, Brent. Current Idaho Governor Butch Otter, who served under Andrus, had this to say. Cecil Andrus made everyone around him better. He was a mentor to me and many others, raising our standards and inspiring us to think big. He combined stubborn idealism with common sense, a lunch bucket liberal proudly reflecting his timber country upbringing and values. Whatever you thought of his politics, Cease was always true to whatever he believed, and he believed in Idaho. Idaho Senator Mike Crapo had this to say about Andrus. Governor Andrus was a dynamic and effective leader who knew how to wield authority and get things done for Idaho and for the nation. His leadership and sense of purpose as a public servant were demonstrated repeatedly during his long career in public service. He earned my respect, and I count him as a friend. Now, Governor Andrus will be honored next week. He will lie in state at the Capitol Rotunda starting at noon on Wednesday. The Andrus Center will hold a memorial for Cecil next Thursday. It starts at 2 o'clock in the Jordan Ballroom at Boise State. He will be buried at Pioneer Cemetery on Friday.